Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, rolling. As you can see, we're shooting outside today, really hot and very humid, but I thought that it's going to be a different setup. So I'm meeting my friend Kudzai for breakfast today, and I thought let's just sit with her, talk to her. It's always fun to chat with her about really interesting stuff. So I thought let's just go ahead and make an episode out of it. We are here at the pods in Blue Waters Island. It's a really cool space because they have these little pods for you to sit in and you have your meal and have like your conversation. It's a private space. So I think it's a very interesting concept. Let's go ahead and check it out. It's 10:40. I'm waiting for Kudzai. She's going to be here in 2 minutes and our booking is for 10:45. So Kudzai, see you soon and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. So finally, we're sitting inside the pod. Kudzai will do a reveal, I think, only when we start shooting properly. She's getting ready in the pod. So I'm just going to show you my side of it. Actually, I'm going to show you how it looks like. So here, so these are these tiny little pod setups, and this one's the door for ours. And here are these little pods, and we're also sitting in one. I'm all ready. I just have to do my hair, but it's fine. And I have to set up the tripod. So okay, I did a quick tour of the pod. I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to let you see it properly in the full video. So yeah, see you soon. Beautiful. This I don't like.
What?
These two things.
How come you didn't respond to my messages this morning?
Because I was getting ready. I was so like, I woke up at 9:15. So I was like, okay, now it looks good. And I'll keep my glass and my thing there.
Okay.
So we're finally seated in the pod and all ready to chat. Are you ready, Kudzai?
I'm ready. Let's go.
So this is Kudzai. She's my first ever international friend here. I actually did not know anybody outside of India until I met Kudzai. So yeah, and she has actually taught me a lot of new things. Very cool stuff as well, which I did not know about, and also increased my GK about a lot of places. So
GK, just say general knowledge. Why do you abbreviate everything?
sorry, Kudzai. It's
Yeah.
fine. So let's start. Do you want to introduce something?
Okay. Well, hi everyone. Kanika's introduced me. So Kanika and I met like how many years ago? 3 years ago when we started working together. So I'm from Zimbabwe, which is a country in Africa, because Africa is not a country. Kanika thought Africa was a country when we first met. It is not a country at all. So I'm from Zimbabwe, which is a country in Africa. It's a country in the south of Africa, but we call the region Southern Africa because there's a country called South Africa anyway. So you get it? The region is called Southern Africa.
I know, and that's
Yes.
what we will address as in this episode, Southern Africa, not South Africa. It's
Yes.
a different country altogether.
Yes, and also because I lived in a number of countries in the region. So my experiences are based on, living in Southern Africa. So yeah.
Interesting. So to begin with, Kudzai, let's do it. What's your
Yes.
body count?
Kanika, please.
It's a joke. I'm not
No,
asking you
no,
your
no,
body
no,
count.
no, no.
Anyway, just to break the ice,
Okay, yeah. Okay,
So-
fine. Yeah, because we have the problem, the two of us, we need to break the ice. Yeah.
Oh God, it's been so long we
Yeah.
know each other.
Yeah.
Remember the first time we spoke?
I remember you came up to me and then you told me about some documents that you're going to send me. And I thought, oh, this cute little girl. She wore pajamas to work as well. I was like, okay, do you, girl? But it was just there.
I know, and I
remember.
remember you were very sad in your initial days because I think your grandmom died or something.
Yeah, my grandmother had just died. And I
Yeah.
just started work, so I just did sit by myself. I didn't talk to anyone either, so it was just, it was an awkward time. But yeah, fun times.
But I love how you also became like so open with me. I think initially I was a bit scared of you, I guess.
You were scared of me.
Maybe it looked like you would, I don't know.
You were scared of me?
Scared in the sense I was so intimidated. Like I was like, oh my God, if I say something wrong, what if,
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Especially
so
after we
interesting.
found out that I didn't know Africa was a like
Oh
continent.
no, but I think we were friends by that point.
yeah.
Otherwise,
actually.
you wouldn't have admitted
Actually,
it
yeah,
to me.
true.
I don't think you would have said it. So
That is
yeah.
true. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, at what point did we become friends though? Because I always had this thing, I never become friends with colleagues. So I didn't talk to anyone for the longest time. So like even when you
Mhm.
guys would talk, I would give you like tidbits about my life. So I wanted to seem like I'm revealing my life,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
wasn't actually talking a lot about my life. And then at one point, like things then just turned around and we became friends. And
I remember.
here we are now.
I remember that phase when you were like, I will only tell you what you need to know. I will not
Basically,
reveal any more
and
details.
and now,
And now you're just walking up to my desk and like, so this happened and that
bro,
happened. It's just-
Kanika knows everything about my life. Like she's got the passcode to my phone. I think
You
our
do.
relationship is a bit weird. The way we
Yeah.
check each other's
There's
phones.
phones, yeah. Like,
It's I don't know. Do other people check
That's
each other's
true.
phones? But like, oh, so and so person.
Yeah, so I will be working on my laptop randomly, then Kudzai will walk in and she'll pick up my phone,
Literally.
open my phone, and she's like, "Oh, you're talking to this guy.
Yeah.
What did you like?" I'm like, "Wow,
Yeah.
I love that. But I love it.
Yeah.
It's so, I don't know,
Yeah.
comfortable and it's
It
so
is.
open.
It's just really weird. Well, sometimes I'm like, I really shouldn't be checking her phone, but yeah, I check her phone like a lover.
Yeah, and I don't let you become friends with other people also.
Kanika does not like me having other friends. The minute I mention an issue with someone, she's like, no, just get rid of them. Like,
Break up. Don't.
no. Like,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know. Oh, there was a time I made a new friend and I was telling Kanika, oh, I was with her this weekend. And she's like, I feel like you're hanging out with her a lot. I'm like, because she's my friend.
Oh God, and I'm
She
like,
does
"Oh."
not like me having other friends. It's like, it's a bit toxic as well
I
sometimes.
mean, just cut her off, man. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need other people. Food is here. I will eat like a monster only.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
So talking about moving to Dubai,
Mm.
why did you come here? Like just to work, or and why Dubai out of? Because you've always been in Southern Africa, so why not? Like why here?
Okay, well, I think I moved to Dubai. Same reason most people move to Dubai, to look for new opportunities and stuff. So that was the main reason. Why Dubai? I still don't know. It was one of those things I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I need to leave. I don't know where I'm gonna go. And then Dubai just came into my mind, and somehow I just wound up here. I wish I had like some good, long, logical reason as to why I chose Dubai, but I honestly don't.
So did you know people here that or
I-
something?
No, I have a cousin, but he doesn't live in Dubai, so he's the only person I knew here when I moved here. So yeah, that was it. But it's been fun times. I think the thing with Dubai, once you like find your little tribe, so like now I have my little tribe. I'm sorry, I have friends outside of you, Kanika. But yeah,
It's fine.
so,
You
yeah.
can have.
So yeah, once you find your little tribe, then Dubai is okay. It's manageable. So I'm glad for that.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
You can eat.
Okay, I am eating.
Yeah. And then I remember when we started talking.
Mm.
Did you ever at a point feel like I don't want to like talk about age and all, like not to do any make any ageist remarks, but did you ever feel like, oh, she's too young to be my friend or something?
No, that was never it. For me, I didn't want to be friends with you because you're my colleague.
Oh.
So the age factor never even came into play. It was only like, I don't want to become friends with my colleagues. But then somehow I became friends with all of you. But the age factor, I don't even think I knew how old you were at that point, to be honest. So it never just came into my mind. But, yeah, somehow we ended up becoming friends. And it's been beautiful because for us, sorry to cut you off, it's not only intergenerational, it's intercultural as well. So it's like,
That's
this
true.
beautiful, like, mishmash of things. And we get to learn from each other too.
That is true. I agree because even I remember initially even I felt like, okay, there's nothing common, like what will we even talk about? Sometimes you have that thought at the back of your head.
Yes.
But then I think as we started talking, there was so many
Bro,
commonalities as
It's
well.
so weird because we shouldn't have anything in common.
Yeah.
If you look at us on paper.
And even the way we are born and brought up, like it's like, okay, they're different. People outside your country, they're different. Even inside our country, we are told that like South Indian culture is different and North Indian culture is different. And forget about other country altogether. So that was also something, I was like, oh, new stuff. But then when I actually spoke to Kudzai, we have a few commonalities, which is very funny. Like you call it achar.
Yes.
We call it achar too.
Yeah. And so I always thought achar was a South African thing, and then I heard you saying it, and I was like, hey, but they call it acha. So I was like, hang on, are you talking about the same thing I'm talking about? So I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You can try, you're not eating.
Oh, sorry, I'm listening to you.
Yes, and you can eat and listen.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so can I ask you then, since I'm your first international friend, what was your perception of Africa before you started talking to me? Like
Okay.
before you met anyone African?
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. You can also eat. It's like you're not eating.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Reminder to eat. Okay, my perception of Africa. So, like, it was about the people there. They're very first of all, very cultural. I would like to say, like you're too deep rooted in your culture. Like
Interesting.
everyone's that, and the image that we have is they do all this. Not to again sound racist, but that's what we have been seeing in movies and all, like the whole tribal thing, and then all of this and that, and we never recognize that tribes are different, and then the other culture is different, and in our head the image was more like, oh, okay, hula la, all of that, and It's
okay.
like not
Okay.
correct, but that's what we
Mm.
have seen. Hello.
Hi. Okay. So your perception, I don't even blame you for having that perception because like a lot of people who do then visit Africa from other continents, they're like, oh wow, you guys have houses and stuff like that. Like they think we live in huts
Huts and
yeah, exactly. And they think like we have wild animals for pets and whatever. I'm just like in this day and age, people still do have that perception, so I don't even blame you. But I'm just like, guys, you have the internet. Like, how do you think people still live like this in this day and age?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, that's what we've thought. We've told. We've seen. Not even told, but it's just the image you have in your head.
It's so sad.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
What about for you? What did you think of India?
So the thing with us, you also need to bear in mind that we have a lot of Indians in our culture, in our countries as well. So I've been exposed to Indians, but they're obviously not like Indians, and they've been like in South Africa, wherever, for like generations and generations. But they're still Indians, so they're still there. And the Indians that I've been exposed to, like throughout my childhood and everything, would be like very enterprising businessmen. So I always had this perception of Indians like being very hardworking, very enterprising, and all of that. So even when I got here and I hear people talking about these villages in India, so in my mind I never thought about India having villages like that. Because I always saw these guys as, living in like the nice parts of the city and everything. So like I always thought of them, in that sense. Because only when I started becoming friends with you guys and you tell me about things that happen in India and all of this, I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. But I'm obviously like the same perceptions you have about Africa, like, it's all like, dusty roads and whatever. I'm like, India has a side like that as well. So yeah.
I agree. And one big point that we miss out, that if we go back in the history, like both the countries were colonized at a point of time.
Yeah.
And that's such a big common factor because we
Yes.
weren't allowed to have our own set of culture, values and all. Like it was brought down upon by the British. And I feel that's a big common factor, which is why which we neglect actually, I think, because why do we see you guys as different or just a bit more marginalized than other, like why do we glorify white people so much?
Bro.
And why is
Bro.
the black community looked down upon, or it's just more like, and even the white people look down upon both the communities, so it's like both the
100%. Yeah.
same.
Yeah. But I also feel like because we have this thing of proximity to whiteness means that you're somehow better. So for you guys, because you're closer
On the
to white
color
people,
spectrum.
color spectrum, hair spectrum, like any proximity to whiteness that you have somehow makes you better. So like even like, okay, for you guys, because you've got like the straight hair, you've got the fair skin like they do, so you've got the proximity to whiteness. So even like for us as well, proximity to whiteness, it comes to like your language. So it's kind of like, oh, you speak English, so so you're better than someone who may not speak English because of colonialization impacts and everything.
Okay.
So it's things like that.
And the weird part is that a lot of people, like as you said, Africa, the perceptions people have about Africa. I'll tell you some perceptions about India. Again, it's like, oh, they don't know how to talk in English, or like they feel that we again live in villages and huts. And obviously, no, I'm not talking about like white people have this perception. Indians don't obviously have this perception of themselves, but it's like, okay, so you guys, you have a very, again, deep-rooted culture. You're very conservative, which, okay, I agree. As a society, I feel Indian society is a bit conservative, but now we are breaking barriers. Now we are also moving forward. But I remember when I went on this trip to the US, there was a person and he kept on like translating things for me and used to tell me, okay, this means this means this. And I'm like, I'm a full grown-up person.
Did he think you don't speak English?
No, he knew. I obviously have.
Yeah, so why was he? Yeah.
He was trying to explain the concepts of things, like things I could see in front of my eyes. But it's like, oh, by the way, this is this, and I'm like, it's on the first time I'm traveling.
Oh, in that sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, like like welcome to the civilized world kind of thing. It's like, let me show you how this works.
Yeah, and I'm like, huh? Like, wasn't needed.
Oh no, I don't like that. Yeah. But you're talking about like culture and stuff. I feel like after colonialization, you guys hang on to your culture a lot because like you guys, like you still wear your traditional wear and everything. And you guys, because I hear you on the phone sometimes and you can speak in Hindi like full on, like an entire conversation. I can't do that because for me, like growing up, like there's, I don't know what it is, the perception I had like growing up as a kid, like speaking my local language wasn't like seen as cool.
Dude, oh my god, this is okay. Oh, sorry, I'm breaking you here, but same.
Yeah,
genuinely same.
Mm.
As kids, we
Mm.
were always taught to be like, you have to be good in English, you have to be,
Mm.
and you can't, if you go out, you talk to strangers, you
Mm.
don't talk in Hindi and all. Like,
Okay,
talk in
okay.
English and
Mm.
show that you know English and all. Like, for the longest time, I wasn't comfortable
Mm.
talking in Hindi. But then
Mm.
I think after college, I accepted, okay, this is who I am. But if I talk in Hindi, I talk in Hindi. Even in office,
Mm.
sometimes I do talk in Hindi, but
Mm.
that comes very naturally to me. English does not come naturally.
Mm.
Because I think
Mm.
in Hindi.
Mm.
And how is it for you then?
No, for me, growing up, it's not like my parents said you should speak English, whatever. I just didn't think it was cool to speak Shona. So I was just like, let me speak English, whatever. So my parents would try to speak to us in Shona, and my parents had a rule: you greet us in Shona. But I'm like, Shona is just out.
English.
Yeah, English. But then it's like when I left Zim and then I went somewhere else, I moved to Swaziland. Like these people speak their own language, but I can't speak my languages fluently. So I actually started learning my language more once I left Zim. It only became cool to me once I left Zim. Because I'm like, no, man, I also have my own language. The same way they have their own language. So it was only once I left Zim that I started becoming like, more appreciative. If I had stayed in Zim my whole life, I don't think I'd speak Shona. I don't speak it well, but my Shona would still be really, really bad. It's bad now, but yeah. It took me leaving my country to appreciate it more.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh God, because I feel when I did made this change, not change, but I noticed something when I moved to Dubai. Because they value their Arabic language so much. They put it on a pedestal, even more important than English. And that's what made me think that why do we as Indians always shy away from speaking in our mother language or and then I was like, okay, now if everybody's like, you have to accept yourself as who you are.
Yeah, do you find that you became like more proudly Indian once you left?
Yeah. No, I think that happens when you move.
I think it happens, yeah, because like now, like I was always like proudly black, but now I'm like blackity black. So I'm just like, everything in my home is just, I just wanted to be a reflection of, my heritage and everything as much as I can. Which if I was at home, I wouldn't be doing this, but it's just like, you appreciate these things only once you leave home.
That's
so, yeah,
true.
that's unfortunate.
And I've been, why not eat?
Why are you not eating?
I'm also eating.
Oh, okay.
But, and also in this whole video, I will refer to you as my first international friend and all, because now I want to come to the topic where if I would have addressed you as you're my first black friend, would you take offense to it? Is it offensive? And why do people get offended? Because isn't it a fact? I mean,
it is a fact. So here's the thing. Some people do get offended when you refer to them as black. They'll be like, I can't believe she called me black. I'm an African. But at the same time, not all black people are African. Because if you see someone on the street today and you think, oh, that person is African, that person could be from anywhere in the world. There are black people everywhere. So I prefer to be called black because I'm just like, you don't know where I'm from until I've actually told you where I'm from.
True.
So, but then some people will take offense to it. And I think it's also because of the connotation that black has. So, like things like, black magic,
black
being
money.
blacklisted, all of this. Maybe that's why I didn't like to be called black. I don't know.
Now, as you were talking about like commonalities and all of that, I want to know about like the cultural values that you're brought up with in Africa. So are you like in India, it's a male dominated society, in like male dominated families, many like it's been there for generations. Now there are families who are breaking these patterns, but how is it back there?
I think patriarchy exists everywhere. So it's definitely the same past. It's kind of like
even in families, like in the society it exists, but like in family terms, like the head of the decision maker of the family will be your father, let's say, or grandfather.
Oh, in that sense. I think that would depend from family to family, because I'm looking at my family and I'm just like, yeah, I think the decision maker would be like both of them. But my parents are pretty liberal, so I think it depends from family to family in terms of like who would make the decision. But I think in most instances it would be like the couple making the decisions together, especially in this day and age. I think even like my parents' generation, I'm pretty sure it's like both of them, because my parents' generation, both people had to work. So one person can't make the decisions for the entire household if both people are working.
Oh, okay. Then that's a point of difference, because in many of our families, it's like if you move out of the house after marriage, if you leave your parents after marriage, like if the boy, then he's considered as if he doesn't love his parents, and it's wrong to leave his parents and all. Yeah, I mean not saying it for all families, but majority, especially where I've grown up in North Indian side of it, Delhi and all of these places, that's how it seemed like, oh, you want to leave your parents, how dare you leave your parents.
This makes sense then, because like in the city that I grew up in, what city did I grow up in, Kanika?
You grew up in Johannesburg.
No.
What? You've grew up
in the first city that I lived in. The first city that I lived in, where I was born.
Oh, I actually don't know.
The capital of Zimbabwe.
You're really testing my geography skills, aren't you? I don't know.
If Johnny had 5 apples, the capital of Zimbabwe.
What?
The capital of Zimbabwe.
I don't know. Actually, don't know.
After how many years?
I'm actually
But I
weak at
know the
geography.
state that you're from. I know Uttar
What?
Pradesh. I know Ghaziabad. You don't know the city I was born in.
Sorry, okay, this is not a racist thing. I genuinely don't remember. It's not racist. I forgot. I'm actually bad at geography.
Yeah, she really is.
Where?
Anyway, Harare.
Harare.
Have you heard that before?
I remember Hure, but not Harare. Hure, she taught me. It's in Shauna. It's a whore.
Okay. Okay, fine. So anyway, the city that I grew up in, well, I spent the first part of my childhood in, Harare. There's an area called Belvedere where a lot of Indians live, and you find like really, really big houses. And I always used to think it's because the people there are very rich, which they are. And then my dad explained to me, no, that's because they have many generations living under one household as well. So I was like, oh, because we generally don't do that. Because for us, it's like as soon as you can, whether you start working or you're getting married, whatever, you kind of get out of your parents' house. I suppose things are different now because the economy and whatever. But it's a very, very rare to find a married man living with his parents, him and his kids. People would kind of look down on him, like, not look down, but they'll be like, are things that difficult, like, you're not making enough money to move out, kind of thing.
So you're pushed
Like,
to be independent.
You're pushed to be independent. You would only like live with your parents like as a last resort, like if things are like not balancing properly in your life. So I think like that was a big
That's a
cultural
big-
difference that I saw with us as well, is that we're kind of like okay,
Yeah.
now go raise your family on your own, kind of thing.
That's actually nice. That's a good concept because here we are looked down upon.
Oh, another thing I really love about like an intercultural relationship is like when you learn about someone else's culture. So like even you being able to say to me, oh, my boa fufa, because it's like you don't have to explain to me because I boa fufa and that blah blah blah. Because I'm saying, oh, okay, blah blah blah. It's like how I can speak about salsa and you know what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Salsa.
Yeah, exactly.
National
Yeah.
dish.
Yeah, exactly. So things like that,
Yeah.
where it's like, you learn about each other's cultures, then these things just become like second nature.
Oh my
and you'll be
god,
like,
yeah, I've taught you so many words.
Exactly.
So whenever
Gava. It's my favorite word.
So whenever I'm doing something like cheap or a crass thing, if I do something crass in office, because I will just go like,
That's so Gavar Kanaka.
you're so gavar kanika. And if somebody's being like extra sweet to someone, and somebody's trying to fake like act all sweet and all, then I've taught her the word
Mita.
meetha, which is like somebody's behaving too sweetly with you, and
Mm.
we just know the connotations of the words also so well, so we
Mm.
and now we have those similarities.
Yes.
Also, I remember when I do listen to like Afro artists a lot, and especially with the whole TikTok and Instagram just barging in our lives. I think the entire doors to globalization has just opened even more, because all these artists, they're coming up, they're given a platform, and that's how imagine. Do you think a girl from Ghaziabad would know about Tyla, or they would know about Cassie, for let's say? I think it's all that would have
Can
been
I-
hang.
Can I just say, sorry, Kasho, something about Tyler? I don't think I know anyone who was as obsessed with water as you. Every single, before it even blew up, Kanika would send every single reel to us. It's just like, Kanika, we get it, you like it. Ah,
Yeah, water.
She's-
I still love it. It's nice.
she's obsessed. So we now have this thing whenever Kanika and I go out, if either of us goes out and we hear water, we have to send the other a video of us
Yes.
singing the song. It's like, it's our thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Whenever we go out, we do that. And yeah, I think that's a big thanks to the internet and also like reels and TikToks that we have got to know about these things. And yeah, because people should get recognition for the work they do, and I think it's pretty cool. I remember I was listening to this song "Long Way to Go" by Cassie. I was listening it while I was in the bus, and I just sent a screenshot to Kudzai like, "Oh, nice song," and she goes like, oh, "You know this song?" And I'm like, "What do you think? I listen to all sorts of music." But
And
yeah,
I'm impressed. Like, you're very worldly as well. I'm very impressed because I ask her, but people are like, yeah, I know her. I'm like, really?
yeah, God, she was showing me, I don't know, Snoop Dogg or somebody. I was like, yeah, I know this guy. And she's like, oh, you know? So, yeah, that was fun.
So what's been the best part for you having an international friend?
Okay, wow. I think my geographical skills, if not better, but they have gotten a tad bit improved, if not fully like full blown better. But that, because I didn't know so many things. For the longest time, if I thought Africa was a country, then you know which bubble I was living in, right?
There was this day when I was so proud. Kanika was talking to someone, and this person was telling you a story about how someone else they knew went to Africa. And Kanika was like, that's like someone saying I'm going to Asia. How can someone say that? You need to specify the country. I was listening to it, and she didn't know I was listening in on the conversation. I was just like, I'm so proud. My work here is done.
Yeah, you've raised a good kid. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest, change in me, that I have got to know about new places. I've also corrected myself where I was wrong in terms of these geographical things, and also the cultural things, as I told you, the perceptions we had. When you actually go out in the real world and you meet those people, there's a big change, and you become more accepting of everything.
But you're so racist, though.
Not okay.
She makes racist jokes.
Okay, coming to the jokes. So, what's your what?
I can't even repeat some of them here because sometimes I have to.
So I do make racist jokes, but it's not a racist joke. I feel I like to call it like dark humor.
No, and I've had to be like, guys, you can't say this.
Yeah, so that's
I'm like, you can say it to me, but please don't go out into the world and say it to other people.
So I think don't you think that the people who make the most dark jokes or racist jokes, wherever, like all these problematic jokes, they actually have accepted and they're more accepting. That's why they're making these jokes. Because
also, you had to accept me first as your black friend.
No, not accepting this as a friend. Just accepting of the thing that I'm talking about. Let's say if I'm making a joke about like the black people or whatever, but I know how they are. I'm not judging, or at least I'm not making faces at them like or whatever. I'm not being snobbish. If I'm making a joke, don't you think I'm more comfortable around it? That's why I am able to.
Not all the time, because some of your jokes I have to call you out and be like, no, bro, you went too far.
Okay, yeah.
You and that other person, the two of you. We won't name. I have to call you out so many times. I'll be like, guys, you've gone too far.
Yeah. So where do you draw that line? Let's say, because my intention is not coming from a racist. Like,
how do I know?
How do we know? Have you not known me?
How do I know? Because sometimes I'm like, even there's a reel. No, it wasn't even a reel. Something you sent me on Instagram last. I didn't even respond to it.
Yeah. But don't you think it's not coming from a racist place? Because generally it's not. If I was racist, don't you think I would make faces or just not be accepting?
Okay, I suppose if you were racist, you wouldn't want to hang out with me anyway. Because you'd be like, I
would anyway keep you marginalized on the side. Like, no, I will only talk to Indians and I will only do this and
fine.
So that's my point of view. The people who are able to make these jokes is because they're more accepting. Let's say a person like, I don't want to name, but a person, who's a bit racist, but they don't show it.
Oh, yeah.
So they will not make these jokes because internally in their head they have a malicious intent.
Yeah. Okay, I suppose that is fair to some extent, but you have to know the person, which is why I said, yeah. Make the jokes with me, and then I still have the freedom to let you know that, no, that went too far.
Obviously.
And I will tell you guys, when you go too far.
That's also because we are on that comfort level. You can come up and tell me like, okay, I didn't like it. Oh my god, that reminds me.
When I had to leave the groups, I was so upset with the joke that you guys made.
Yeah, but I didn't make that joke.
Yeah, okay, it wasn't you, but it was someone else.
So, no, I remember when one day Kutsai walks up to me. She's like, Kanika, I didn't like the way you said this or something. I made a joke on you.
Yes.
It wasn't a racist joke, it was something else. And then she came up to me and then she's like, I didn't like the way you said it. And I'm like, oh, that's your problem.
Imagine, your own friend. And she's like, oh, that's your own problem. And someone else had to tell her that, no, Kanika, that wasn't cool. And then she was like, oh, I'm sorry. So it took you. See, this is the thing I like. This is the thing I love about having a friend like a Gen Z friend, is that you guys just say whatever you want.
I don't behave Gen Z.
Okay, fine. But we are different.
We are different. Okay,
yeah, fine. Okay, a younger friend is that you guys are fearless with what you say. You can just say whatever. Whereas I feel like for us, we think a lot about what we're going to say.
Wow, I think differently. I feel Gen Zs are so scared these days. No, the whole cancel culture. Nobody's saying.
You say whatever you want, because like you will text. You say whatever you want to me.
But that's my thing. Look at this Dubai kids.
No, but I'm just saying, okay, so maybe it's just a Kanika thing then, that you just say whatever the hell you want to say. So which is why I come to you for advice sometimes, because you'll just be like, just say that, kind of thing. I'm like, I can't say that, Kanika. You're like, no, just say it.
Yeah.
So that's a nice thing about having
my point of view is, our generation is much more scared now to say what they feel because they're afraid of being cancelled or they don't want to be looked down as as a racist person or whatever, even though their intention is not racist or anything problematic. Let's say making a joke. People are scared to make jokes now because everybody's getting cancelled, you're being trolled on the internet.
Yeah.
But if you wear it on your sleeve, then, and that's what I do.
Yeah. And I think I don't want to say I feel sorry for you, but I have a lot of empathy for your generation because you've grown up in a world with social media where everything you do is online. Whereas for us, we didn't have that.
Even
So
this is
we
online.
Yeah, exactly. So we could say whatever. Well, nobody was recording what we're doing. So, there's stuff we did back then that no one will ever know of, because we didn't have cell phones.
Oh,
To take a picture, you had to like have film and everything. So people weren't just taking pictures
But I've done
willy-nilly
that.
with your Polaroid. But you still have the option of taking.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that we didn't have the option. So,
But I've lived without phones.
Well,
Yeah, I got my phone in college, like in grade 11 or 12 I got. In 11 and 12 I had a tablet. That was the first device I ever got, and then I got a phone.
so you used to use the
I
film
have
with
those
the
Ashika cameras, I've used them.
with the
The
film and
camera.
everything.
Yeah,
Then you
otherwise-
take the film to be
Yeah,
developed.
developed and then you get it and
Oh.
printed. See,
Okay,
that's
fine,
why I'm
maybe
saying
not.
I'm not fully Gen Z. Maybe
Oh,
it's also a
okay,
Ghaziabad
okay,
thing.
okay.
It's a middle class Ghaziabad family thing as well.
Oh, okay.
That I
Okay.
never had all these fancy things.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you didn't live with. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think we are going to eat our food now. We actually had a great conversation. But if there's anything else, Kudzai, you want to talk about, let's talk about that.
Yes. There's one more thing I wanted to add. So, when people who are not from Africa meet someone who's African, then you ask someone, "Oh, where are you from?" Like me, I'll say I'm from Zimbabwe. Don't say to that person, "Oh, I have a friend from Kenya," because people assume that we all know each other. So, yeah, that's my parting words to everyone.
Okay, yes, please specify that, and also know that there are different places in Africa and countries, guys. Look, I'm being so geographically correct. I love it. But it was a great time chatting with you, Kudzai, and also having amazing food. I actually had a good time. I think we should do this often. Let's do episode 3 or 4 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about something else. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything you want to know about, I don't know, me or Kudzai, please drop it in the comments below and we will answer it. So we can do a Q&A.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh, thanks. And also keep watching OK Rolling and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye, guys. Done. Finally, now we can eat in peace.
Oh gosh, yay.